Okay, go ahead. Okay, just yeah, take me through how a day like today kind of gets you prepared for that.
No, so yeah, like I was saying, like up here it's a little cooler, a little drier. We know down there it's humid and hot, and we put ourselves in environments like the inferno practice or trying to practice in the middle of the day where it's extremely hot to get ourselves ready for that game, more so mentally than anything, because it is different. So we we take pride in those things and we try to push through to develop that mentality.
You mentioned kind of your injury last year, and just how's getting and kind of being hungry to stay healthy the whole season. What kind of things have you been doing to try to make sure you're ready for the season, make sure you're ready to go, and your legs gonna kind of hold up.
I had an extremely good off season. I worked extremely hard. Um, I put on quite a bit of muscle. I've gained about 12-ish pounds since last season, and so just kind of try to put armor on my body to reduce the risk of injury, and also doing simple things like stretching or prehab, as we like to call it. Being in the training room every day and just trying to take care of my body so that I am in the best shape possible, and that's every day, being consistent with that, so that things don't come up during the season, so I can be healthy and get on the field.
Is that something, and I don't want to say like you weren't aware of it last year, but is it something you're a little more cognizant of this year, and kind of the importance of keeping yourself ready, and like you said, that prehab and
absolutely. The more you always try to find things that you can fine tune, right? And I thought I did a decent job last year of taking care of my body and stuff, but things come up and there's always room for growth. And so I knew that I could be more consistent with those things, and this year I've really honed in on those things, and take pride in those little things, because Coach Steele always talks about doing ordinary things and at a high level, and I take pride in that, and so it's like I just work that much harder on the little stuff that a lot of people don't pay attention to, whether it's spending an extra hour in the training room just trying to get your body ready for the next day. And when you're young, you kind of just bounce back. Like, you can go and practice and not take care of your body, and you feel okay to practice the next day. And it's like, as I'm getting older, you start feeling those aches, and so it's like taking care of those and being on top of that. But
how's your leg feeling now?
it feels great. It feels really good. It feels strong. I'm excited. I feel 100%, and so
What would you say your percentage was when you came back last year?
It's hard to tell, because my goal was just getting myself mentally ready and physically ready. I couldn't necessarily give you a number on that, but I just knew that I wanted to be back on that field with my brothers, and I gave everything that I had. So, I didn't really think about the percentage of where I was at. I was just going to give everything I had and work extremely hard when I stepped on the field. But
remind me, was it Oregon State you were back for, or was it?
So I was back for the Wyoming.
You were back for Wyoming.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So those final 4 games of the season, just what did you feel it as you were in the game, or what do you have to do to kind of work through that pain?
If you look back and watch those games, I had that knee brace on, not a specially designed knee brace. I had all these pads surrounded by my leg. Like, my leg was taped up completely just to ensure that those injuries didn't pop up again. And so it was just doing things like that to playing those games and just kind of being cautious in that way. But I feel like towards the end of the season I did play a little slower than I normally did, and part of it's just trying to get back in the groove. You go back and look at the Wyoming game, and it's not a game that I'm proud of, and wasn't my best game, but from that point forward I grew and got progressively better. But
how weird of an adjustment was it to play with that brace? Had you ever done anything like that before?
No. So it was like tape, brace, like hard plastic thing, and like all these braces, all this stuff. So it was different. It took a little getting used to, but after 2 weeks it felt normal. So
for the rest of the O-line, just kind of obviously the injuries were a concern last year. What's kind of what are you seeing from the offensive line this year? Is that still a concern, you think, or is that something that's might pop up through the season?
No, I think I'm extremely excited for our offensive line this year. We have a lot of returners, and we have a lot of guys that got a lot of experience last year due to injuries, and so it was awesome to see them grow from the beginning of the season when they had to hop in and play big roles, and they grew throughout the season. And then it showed, like, this off season. I feel like this is the closest group that I've ever been a part of, and we have an extremely well connection with each other, and we love each other, and it's going to be it's gonna be a great season. I'm excited to work with these guys, and so.
We were just talking to Coach D kind of about the importance of having the number twos ready. Just what are you seeing from them? Is there anyone like, that maybe didn't play last year that's really kind of impressed you in fall camp so far?
Yeah, Carson. He was on PAT last year, and this year, he's really stepped up and he's growing a lot. He's put some things on tape where he's doing an awesome job, and I'm proud of the way he's gotten better, and he's just growing, on and off the field. So it's really cool to see that, and just see him kind of blossom. And so it's been, I'm excited for him. There's no doubt in my mind he's gonna get on the field at some point this year, and so it's gonna be fun to watch that.
And then behind you, obviously, you don't have number two anymore, but those four running backs, what do you like about them? What kind of can they bring to this running game?
I'm extremely excited about that group. They call themselves a stable for a reason. So we had Malik transfer in, and he's a workhorse. He worked extremely hard. He's had a lot of experience under his belt, and he has the right attitude. So I'm excited for him. And then I got to see a little bit of Sire last year. It was unfortunate that he had the injury, but he's back and better than ever. And so I'm excited for him. And guys like Breezy Dubar, Dylan Riley, like those guys, they're doing awesome, and they're growing. And so I'm extremely excited for that group. And
any crazy tattoo bets for the offensive lineman this year?
Not as of right now. I'm sure we'll have conversations about that at some point, but right now we don't have any bets.
All right, sounds